Hey everybody, happy Friday. Kayla here. Today I'm going to be talking to you about something called attachment theory. This is a psychological theory about our attachment to others, relationships, and how the theory of attachment, which originally was about the relationship between children and caretakers, that was started in the 50s, can be used today to inform the way we work, how we work, and maybe some of our habits with working. So today I wanted to cover that with you because I feel like a lot of us do know how to manage our time. We know that if we get up at this time, we spend this amount of hours doing this certain thing, and then this thing, and then this thing, we can get our to-do list done. But we all struggle with this like internal sort of just struggle with getting it done no matter how illogical it might seem. And attachment theory, which is a psychological theory, can sort of help explain that the relationships we have with others can affect our relationships to our job and might even, sort of inform how we feel and the decisions that we make while we are working, and ultimately that can affect your whole work-life balance. And so today I wanted to talk to you guys about the 4 different types of attachment. These attachments, I'm talking specifically for work. So these attachments can be any type of relationship, not just professional. Hello. So these attachments are the way we view ourselves and others, the relationships between ourselves and others, which can affect our work. And I'll start with the secure attachment. So the secure attachment is the healthy one, right? You have a positive view of yourself and you have a positive view of others. So people with a secure attachment in the workplace often work very hard. They don't fear saying no. They don't fear having conversations if they see that something has gone awry. They can handle tasks as they come, and they have good time management and know how to ask for help when they need it. So that's a secure attachment. If you have a secure attachment, please comment below like what you do, what are your tips, your goals. Let's start a conversation and talk about this, because there are 3 other types of attachment that aren't so, I'm saying healthy, but that aren't so well adjusted. You're not taking things as they come. You don't have a positive view of yourself. You might not have a positive view of others. You might feel stuck. You might feel frustrated. You might have a fear that you're letting other people down. And that can all be explained through attachment theory. So you have the secure attachment where you're taking things as they come. You're not afraid to say no. You're not afraid to have conversations. You're managing your time. But there's also 3 others that I want to go through today. And the first one is the anxious preoccupied attachment. So if you have an anxious preoccupied attachment, you have a negative view of yourself but a positive view of others. So you fear upsetting others, and this may drive your actions. So if you're coming from this attachment, you're coming from the anxious preoccupied attachment when you're coming to work, you might be more prone to being sidetracked because you might perceive things negatively. Say you get an email from a client. You already, before you even know what that email is, you already have this negative bias like, oh, they're mad. Oh, we've done something wrong. Oh, I'm going to have to fix something. You feel like that negative bias, and so that might inform how you go about taking those steps to solve that problem. These actions are perceived as threats. So you constantly are putting something that you're working aside to handle that immediately because you feel like if you don't, it'll be handled negatively. And when you have this attachment style, the anxious preoccupied attachment, you sort of become obsessed with problems until they are solved. And so it becomes sort of unhealthy. You're constantly working to solve problems because you're afraid of letting people down. and you have a very negative view of yourself. So the way you can sort of get around that is start doing like affirmations or meditation, something that will help you move from that headspace where you constantly feel like what is happening is negative. On the other side of that sort of attachment style is the dismissive avoidant attachment. So this is where the anxious preoccupied attachment is where you have a negative sense of self but a positive view of others. The dismissive avoidant attachment is the opposite. You tend to have a positive view of yourself but negative view of others. So people with this attachment struggle to meet deadlines, and they struggle to do work that they themselves don't find inherently important. So that can lead to like long hours in the office where you're doing other people's work on something that you feel is important. Because you don't feel like other people will do it as well as you can. So you take more onto yourself. You think that no one else can give you information or make a point that you don't already know, and that they can't teach you anything new. So you might want just to come at the point, like, just be open-minded. Listen to others and see if there is a point that they are possibly making. And sort of, when you put everything on yourself, things become more difficult. So you want to try to be aware of your feelings towards others. And that self-awareness can help you make more informed decisions for yourself, your work, and your business. The last attachment that I wanted to talk to you guys is the fearful avoidant attachment. So this one is similar to the anxious preoccupied attachment, except that the view of yourself and your others isn't positive or negative, it's confused. It sort of goes back and forth. So whereas the anxious preoccupied attachment worker might instantaneously answer that email to solve that problem, to get it out of the way, an avoidant attachment person they still have that fear, but they react to that fear by avoiding it. So they just would never open that email. They would never open the email. They would just let it go, because people with a fearful avoidant attachment don't have the confidence. They don't believe that they have what it takes to solve that problem. So even if it's not a problem, even if they're just viewing it as a problem, they are fearful that they can't do whatever it needs to be to solve that problem. They lack the confidence. So people with the fearful avoidant attachment spend a lot of their time overwhelmed because they feel powerless. So like the anxious preoccupied attachment sort of people, you gotta not worry. You have to focus on self-awareness and how you feel about yourself. Hey, Courtney. Hi. I'm talking about anxious preoccupied attachments, or like the attachment theory, the psychological attachment theory, and how your relationship with yourself and with others can affect your work-life balance. So I am finishing up. So there are 4. There's the secure attachment, right, where you're taking things as they come. You're not overwhelmed. You can handle the tasks as they come. You're not afraid to say no. You're not afraid to ask for help when you need it. You have a healthy relationship with your work. But the other 3, the anxious preoccupied attachment, you've got a negative feeling towards yourself and a positive feelings towards others. So you constantly feel like this negative bias that when somebody comes to you, they're coming to you with a problem. And to get past that, you have to be aware of your feelings towards yourself and how other people feel towards you. I've done another video on that, so check that out if you're interested. But the other 2 attachments are dismissive avoidant and fearful avoidant. So if you guys have any questions, or you know which one you guys are, which attachment you have. I'm going to be honest, I think mine is anxious preoccupied. As soon as I get an email, I think, oh no, what have I done now? And that's just a personal thing that I have to get past. And knowing that that's the attachment I have towards myself and towards others, I can use that to inform my decisions in the workplace and make my work-life balance a little bit easier. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next Friday.